I want to talk about a movie that I saw recently called Infinite Storm. So I don't know if this one's been on your radar, Alan, at all.
It is, but I didn't get to see it. It's in theaters today.
It's in theaters today, so I had a chance to see it. So it's in theaters today. I assume, is it theaters and VOD or just theaters only?
I believe it's just theaters.
Theaters. Okay,
Uh,
so I saw Infinite Storm. What's it about? Naomi Watts plays a park ranger who her specialty is rescue, and she's visits this mountaintop where there's someone trapped there. How do they know this? Because there's a storm coming, and the parking lot's completely empty except for one car, right? So she goes on a mission to find whoever it is who's clearly trapped on the mountain. And it's one of those and Naomi Watts is, I think she's great in this. I don't know. I've always liked her, but like so much of this stuff, so much of the stuff in the film is like one of those where it's just like, I don't know how that's not digital effects. She's just out in the wilderness. She's just, you know, walking alone. And then also like in the snow, it's kind of hard to like reset that up. It's not like you can just get rid of all the like, footprints in the snow, but it's one of those survival movies. So that is a genre unto itself. There've been a lot of great ones in the past. This one is insane and over the top, where you just like are like, how did they get these shots? There may have been, I'm just thinking in my filmmaker brain, it's like, okay, maybe they were able to do it this way and it was some sort of digital removal, but it just looks real. It's Naomi Watts, her character, versus the elements, on a mission to try and find somebody, but she needs to be rescued herself. So she falls in this pit where it's just, she's surrounded by snow, and eventually she's rescued by the person she's trying to find, who is I don't, he's suffering through something. Is he on drugs? What's wrong with him? He's not very clear to her, but clearly he's disoriented. He's going through something. He's not the most cooperative person to be saved, right? So it's about how these two come together and survive this storm happening on a mountain. And here's the interesting part about the movie, and I don't want to get into too much of the second half of the film. I'll just give you a little tease for it. Most of these, uh, uh, person versus the wilderness movies, which again is a genre, they just end with the person surviving. This movie kind of ends in the middle, in the sense of it shows the repercussions of the events on the mountain. I don't want to go into too much more. It's just like at a point where I thought, well, like this is kind of where the movie should end, and it doesn't end because there's more to the story. There's more going on with this person she's rescued, and again, I don't want to say too much. What I also like about sort of like a person versus the wilderness type of film is there's very little dialogue. There are a lot of things that happen, but there's very little dialogue. And I really wish I had seen this in a theater. I saw it with a digital screener in order to see it in advance. And I just really enjoyed it. It's one of those things that like in the theater, you're going to feel very cold. Bring a winter jacket to it. But yeah, I really recommend seeing this in a theater. It totally went to places I didn't see coming. And it kind of flipped the genre somewhat, in the sense that like we've seen this movie before, and it's sort of like in the People versus Wilderness movie and all sports films, right? It's in the sports movie, which is a genre. Do they win? Do they win? Do they win or do they lose? And in some cases in sports movies, when you lose, you actually win. For example, a lot of people, if you ask them who won in the first Rocky movie, it's not Rocky. He loses the fight, but he wins respect, which is about Rocky Balboa's character, is about he wants respect, right? He's sort of this, he's not looked on with any respect, and he's sort of even thought of as a dimwit, right? Even in the Bad News Bears, right? They lose, but really they win because they win respect, self-respect. And in a People versus the Wilderness movie, it's like, do they survive? and how are they changed from the experience? And this is different than that. It's part of that, but I think but because so much more happens in the second half of the film that I'm not going to spoil, it just makes it stand out in this genre, and I think it's really worthwhile. We're getting we have a decent number of people here watching. This is great because Alan and I would do these live streams and we'd be talking to 5 people, which was great because we could have the conversation with 5 people. Now we've got more people talking to us, and I really do appreciate that. Let's go to some of the comments. Or did you have any? Do you have any questions or comments?
No, I mean, you addressed a lot of things that I was just thinking. I mean, how many news stories are there? So now it's about telling the same story, but finding new wrinkles to it and finding new twists to it.
And she's really vulnerable. Naomi Watts is the whole movie to me, and she's really vulnerable. There's a scene where it's not a sexual scene, but if she gets naked and she's just sort of dealing with like her body and how it's injured, and it's like I don't want to necessarily compare it to that scene in Mandy where Nicolas Cage goes in the bathroom and screams, but it sort of reminded me of that, of just like what she's experienced, and she's just, I mean, she goes for it. So I feel like that's I feel like I admire that. Let's see some of the comments. Fourth 1000 says Naomi Watts always brought that chaotic energy. Yeah, for sure here, definitely. And Naomi Watts is a great actress. I thought her performance in The Impossible 9 along with Tom Holland was fantastic. Says Graham Robbins. So yeah. And,
what was that movie? Was it Film 34 or something like that?
I'm not sure.
I forget. It was just this weird comedy, this offensive comedy, and she was brilliant in it. And I've never laughed so hard at a movie when her segment came out.
ABC Cinema says, has anyone seen Under the Silver Lake? If so, what did you think? I have seen it. I thought it was amazing. Red Letter Media did a really great review of that film, which led me to I bought it. It's great. It's Andrew Garfield, and it's weird, and it's about uncovering a sex cult in Hollywood. That's the basics of it. If that doesn't get you interested. So yeah, ABC Cinema, I loved it. So thank you. Yeah. And I'm just going to throw this up. Lance Alato says, hey, Chris, you're great, buddy. Oh, thanks.
You are.
Maybe talking about I got to get a haircut. My hair is just.
By the way, chat says it's Film 43, which reveals
Film 43.
I'm dyslexic.
Okay,
I'm
great.
dyslexic. So
and Pierce Bronson is back. Greetings, Hail Film Thread.
Hail Piers.
Yeah, Hail Piers, you were along for the ride with us for the Christian Toto interview, which was great. It's a Gungan is back, and I got your name right this time. I watched Mandy on a plane. How could you watch Mandy?
I know
on a phone. I thought that was said plane. What can I say? I watched Mandy on a phone. Yeah, I don't know. Mandy on a phone, probably not. That'd be like, I don't know, like watching Inception on a phone. I don't know. You want the big theatrical experience. So, and let's hear. Hannibal Grimm says that film is an experience when you see it in a theater. Not sure which film you're talking about, but you're talking about movie 43. Not quite sure. But
you've not seen that one?
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, you need to see that one.
I've heard of it. Okay.
Oh,
refresh my memory. Is that the movie that movie 43 is like? They're all talking about it in the chat.
It's a series of gross out anthologies, and
yes,
and I don't even want to describe her segment because it is so wrong but great.